just sitting here watching the wheels go round and round.
Ooh, the wheel in the sky keeps on turning. How can we believe the world is round?
As always, truth in music and movies. This is the world of duality, the world of opposites. And again, taking a look at this footage of the time lapse of the stars going around. That is, again, the wheel in the sky that keeps on turning. Now, how is this possible with the heliocentric model, with the supposed sun moving at 500,000 miles an hour through space, while all the other so-called planets, including Earth, of course, are going round and round, again, as this vortex goes through supposedly endless space? Give me a break. Now, talking about this Earth we live in, forget the northern hemisphere, forget the southern hemisphere. All we have is the inner circle and the outer rim, or the outer circle, and the Antarctic ice wall that holds the oceans in. And this is something that's not being made up, that we can see with our own eyes with this footage from a helicopter view above Antarctica, the Antarctic ice wall. And take a look at this footage off the coast of California. Look at the ocean from this vantage point. If we lived on a ball, a spinning ball hurling through space, how do we get this footage of this ocean? And you can see the horizon and the water level. If we lived on a ball, that water should be going down. We should be looking down. It's rising up to eye level. So this is crystal clear for those that have eyes to see. 100% we live on a stationary flat earth. And again, water does not lie. Water always seeks its level. And again, you can forget the ridiculous notion of the northern, western, southern, eastern hemispheres. All nonsense. And of course, in the school textbooks, when you look at the ridiculous ball Earth, and they show obviously the inner core, supposedly inner core, how would they know what it consists of when the largest drill only basically went down 7.6 miles? So how would they know this? And again, of course, just a cartoon drawing, a fake phony ball Earth, showing the supposed inner core. And again, people that believe this don't believe anything, because they have been blinded by science. Now, before getting back to the star trails, what this video is all about, just take a look here at the ridiculous notion that these huge ships, this one being dry docked for repair, for maintenance, can cling on to the side of a baller, travel up around the sides, go to the bottom of Antarctica that supposedly is on the bottom of the world we live on. Completely ridiculous. And again, just take a look at the size of these people compared to this ship. And take a look here as well, this footage. Again, the magnitude of this ship. And somehow, again, this weaker force called gravity being able to hold on. Now, take a look here. Somehow, these grass seeds are able to defy gravity. You know, grass seeds can defy gravity, while gravity can hold down this ship. Things don't add up. Things don't make sense on what we're told. Now, let's take a listen here to those that, believe in science. And let's take a listen to what Neil deGrasse Tyson has to say here regarding gravity.
What is gravity?
You have no idea. Okay, next question.
Wow.
No, here's the difference. We can describe gravity. Okay. We can say what it does to other things. We can measure it, predict with it. But when you start asking, what it is, I don't know.
And here's the thing is, you have a lot of science geeks online pushing these theories of gravity, evolution, the string theory, the theory of relativity as fact, when these so-called leaders of science, such as Neil deGrasse Tyson and Michio Kaku, these so-called high priests of science, nothing but religious nonsense. Let's take a listen to what Michio Kaku says here.
In science, we always say that you make observations, you have a theory, you go make more observations, and it's a very, very tedious process. Wrong. Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method. In our field, it's by the seat of your pants. It's leaps of logic. It's guesswork. It's guesswork.
It's leaps of logic. It's guesswork. And this is definitely pseudoscience. It's not actual science. And again, the people that have been conditioned to believe in this nonsense ball earth can't get past it, can't get past the lies. And basically, for many, it's the point of no return. Now, let's get back on topic with the star trails. That's what this video is all about. Let's get right to it. Now, taking a look at the flat earth model here, and again, I said it many times, where we don't know the full dimensions of the flat earth. This is basically a representation. And the point is again, when it comes to star trails, I have to set the foundation so people understand exactly what they'll be looking at with, again, the sun and the moon that circle above like a clock. When you look at the moon from the inner circle, like I said earlier, the inner circle, not the northern hemisphere, say, for example, from China or Russia, when you look at the moon, you're going to see its face on one side here. You see here that how the northern hemisphere moon looks like. Of course, we only see one face of the moon, and here's the southern. So it's very, again, easy to understand why we see the moon from different aspects of the inner circle and the outer circle, and why they appear as they do. And of course, we see the sun and the moon in the sky often as the sun circles above. Say, for example, you're in California, and say it's about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. On many occasions, you'll see the sun and the moon in the sky at the same time, with obviously both of them above the horizon at the same time. What is the other side of the so-called ball earth getting as far as moonlight or sunlight during these periods of time? Can happen. Now, regarding star trails, once again, so when you're looking from, again, the inner circle, you're looking as the sun and the moon circle above the flat earth, you're looking towards the south. Now, when you're on the so-called southern hemisphere, which is the outer circle or the outer rim, you're looking from this perspective. Let's actually use Australia again with this example. So once again, you're looking at this face. You're looking at this face of the moon. And of course, as it circles clockwise, it always circles, of course, clockwise. You're going to see it from the perspective from Australia going left. So it's making the circle here. And again, the inner circle, you're seeing it go to the right. That's simple, just like a racetrack. Now let's take a look at some actual time-lapse footage. So you'll see how it all makes sense. And this will completely debunk the so-called southern pole. Now let's take a look at this footage of time-lapse star trails from Coonabarabran, Australia. The star trails going clockwise. And it's going to be very clear. It's all about angle. It's all about perspective. Now this is looking towards the east. Again, same. It's going clockwise. Seasonal constellations. Now you see the star trail going counterclockwise. As we all seen, obviously, star trails in the so-called southern hemisphere, once again, travel both clockwise and counterclockwise. So it has absolutely nothing to do with supposedly living on a bogus globe. Now here's a major issue, again, with the outer rim or outer circle. As you can see here with this flat earth model, this flat earth map. Basically, again, this is just a general representation. But the point being is when it comes to the inner circle within the so-called equator, we can all see Polaris, the North Star, stationary above the North Pole from every aspect of the inner circle. Now, here's the major issue, and it is the Southern Cross. It cannot be viewed simultaneously from the outer circle. Can't happen. Doesn't happen because we don't live in a ball. Now, with sunsets, looking from the outer circle to the north, and from the north, from the inner circle looking south, again, from this aspect looking south from the northern circle, you're going to see the sun go towards the right. And of course, from Australia, go towards the left. Let's get right to it. Now with this footage of the sun setting in Australia, and again, the sun is obviously moving towards the left. It's making that tight circle within. And take a look at this footage as well from Australia. Again, moving towards the left. And take a close look as you see a star. It all coincides. It all makes sense. As you can see right here, the star moving left as the sun sets. Which actually, it's not setting per se. It's circling above. And I'll get into that in a little bit, how that works on the flat earth model. Again, there you see it going towards the left. And this is some footage right here of the sun setting over Lake Michigan during winter over a frozen Lake Michigan. And you can see the wider circle it makes because, again, it's in the inner circle. So you can definitely see that sun, and you can see it's a local sun with the illumination of the clouds. If the sun was 93 million miles away, the whole sky should be illuminated. All these clouds should be lit up. It's not. It's again, a smaller local sun. Continue on a little bit more, and I'll explain. Well, some might believe, oh, that sun is going around the ball Earth. Absolutely not. It's just like this row of telephone poles where the nearest pole looks taller than the rest. But as we all know, they're all the same height. Okay, they're all the same height. It's just how the human eye works. Just like when the sun is so-called setting, it's not actually setting. It's basically remaining the same height in the sky. But again, due to perspective, as it goes off in the distance, just like these telephone poles, it only appears that the sun gets lower and lower and lower as it goes beneath. Just like the telephone poles down the row, eventually you cannot see the furthest one. It's not because of curvature. It's, again, due to perspective. Now, to completely debunk the notion of, again, us living on a ball Earth with the so-called southern hemisphere where people are standing upside down, and many people use that, believe in the ball Earth. Again, it's star trails. So this is what it's all about. Let's take a look here. And this is from Perth, Australia. Again, let's take a look. And I'm going to play this. I'm going to speed up the footage just a bit so people have a good idea of what they're looking at. And this is facing north. And again, here's the moon, the sun. And they're moving towards left, of course. Let's speed this up just a tad so we can get this going. I'm going to slow it down now. Now again, you see, pointing towards the north, looking towards the north, you see the counterclockwise star trails. Now let's go look from the perspective. Again, it's about angle and perspective. Let's go look towards the south and see what happens. Now it's moving clockwise. Okay? Again, it's about angle and perspective. Okay? This is not something I'm making up. This app is created by someone, I'm sure, that believes in the ball Earth, and they don't realize, what this demonstrates when it comes to star trails with this app. Once again, here is your counterclockwise star trails. Now, here is during the day. I'm going to speed this up a tad. So we can get back to night. And again, here is just one last time your counterclockwise star trails. So again, this proves without a shadow of a doubt, these star trails from the Australian perspective in Perth, you look at them move now clockwise, has nothing to do with looking at the sky from underneath a ball. So again, 100% debunks the so-called ball Earth with this presentation once again.